Hello and welcome once again to Wandering Monster, America's tabletop showcase, where we take the games you are interested in and show you how they play both mechanically and narratively. My name is John Baltisberger.
I am Charles R. Bernard.
Kevin Welch.
I'm Mr. Paschke.
And tonight we are short two people. Ian is getting ready to go on a trip out of town where he is going with his lady friend. It's going to be romantic. It's going to be sweet, but he needs to get ready for that. And Bridget, her husband, Shaughnifer, his birthday is today. So happy birthday, Sean, first. And second, Bridget, we miss you, but we'll be back full cast in a couple of weeks. Tonight, we're going to do something fun. I hope it's fun. I hope you have fun. As you may or may not know, I ran a Kickstarter for a game I was calling Overgrowth. Now, the Kickstarter didn't really go the way we wanted it to go. There's a lot of reasons for that, but part of the thing is that Zine Quest, the month of February, kind of pits all the indie creators against each other in this like Coliseum death match. That forces people who want to support indie creators to like really say, oh, I can't do all this, and choose one or two projects as opposed to supporting all the people they want to support. Our good friend and game designer that we've published, Alexei Vela, had to cancel his game Soar. And on the other hand, Tommy, who did Swamp, and he had a game called Broaden that did very well. So great to go. Good job, Tommy. Very happy for you. And that doesn't mean that games like Soar and Overgrowth aren't going to be made. It just means they need to either drop a different time, or maybe screw crowdfunding. Maybe we'll just create without the worry of what other people think and make something cool. I say all of this to say tonight we are going to rock and roll Overgrowth. That's right. Because this game is still coming out. Simone and I put a bunch of work into it. It's very cool. It's going to be a lot of fun. And to prove this, I have waylaid my fellow co-host and demanded that they take on the role of demented nature wizards in the world of Overgrowth. Now,
I live it every day, my friend.
Embody their true selves. Overgrowth is a game about demented and mutated nature wizards or druids fighting against corporate, capitalist, industrialist, sentient pollution. Essentially, there's a cosmological war happening between the forces of nihilistic pollution and greed versus the powers of nature, which can also embody entropy, right? But it also embodies rebirth and change. And it's these two forces going head to head through their proxies of things that were once human, such as you players. Why don't you all introduce yourselves real quick?
I would be delighted to go first, as a matter of fact. Tonight, I will be playing the role of my alter ego, Gregor du Gregor, or as he's known, it was Schlop the what? Sorry, I gotta go back. Schlop the Squalid, which I love. Yeah, so I am Schlop the Squalid. Started out as Gregor du Gregor. I was never a team player. I was antisocial throughout school, throughout my brief and merciless professional career. And through studying and acquiring knowledge, I basically decided that humankind can go fuck itself. And so I wandered into the swamp to read some good books and hopefully die of malaria. However, there, hidden in the reaches of the swamp, a sentient collective of slime molds spoke unto me in the voice of the great old ones of nature and said, Schlop, you must rise, Schlop the Squalid, and become the embodiment of mold, become the living decomposer recomposer that Earth requires. And I said, all right. And then the voices said, and also kill all humans. And I said, okay. And so from ripping the bong in the swamp and reading books, I'm on to being a shambling, sentient lump, basically. Parts of me glow. Parts of me glow in the dark. Parts of me glow in the bright. Other parts of me look like stuff's growing in there, because it definitely is. Other parts of me are hatching. Like, if you think that a great unclean one is an embodiment of the family values of Nurgle, you should get a little schlop, because I am become mold, the destroyer of bathroom tile.
Or as Typhon says, the greatest fecundity.
Yes.
Who's next?
I'll go next. I am playing Rathu of Cankers. I was I am what the folks know as a verminmancer. I was kicked out of foster home foster home after foster home. I just never found my place anywhere. No one believed in that I'd make anything of myself, except for the rats, my squeaky little hairless tailed friends. I spoke to them. They're the only ones there. The only ones that gave a good goddamn for me. What got me though is when they started talking back, and telling me, offering me secrets and treasures and all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm a kid. I'm like 10 years old. Rats are talking to me. It's like cartoons. This is fucking amazing. So absolutely, I'm going to, follow this thing. I'm for being 10, I'm, pretty smart, but I, hanging out with the rats, you get in with the wrong crowd. I had the attention span of my my vermin swarm, but kind of a small little gangly guy. Got the large front teeth and just monstrously bulbous eyes, and kind of I look like a rat, guys. I you are who you hang out with, right? I mean, look at all these bearded magnificent bastards. But yeah, that's I mean, I'm sure my name was Matthew at some point, but Rathu is what I'm going
Rathu's
by,
great.
and that's me.
I've always thought that IRL Ant-Man should look a lot more like an ant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
with you.
I do think Scott Lang should get chitin grafted onto his body and face. Okay, Mr. Patchkey.
Yeah. So T Derek. T capital D Derek. To Derek.
To Derek, yeah.
To Derek.
To Derek.
To Derek.
To Derek.
Brilliant scientist. The greatest of his day, possibly, but underappreciated. Not recognized for his accolades, his achievements. Got laid off. Had to finish his work. But somehow through the forces of mass, through space and existence and gravity, Tadaric has through his sciencing ways gone through and over the course of a night figured out how to control gravity. He's a scientist. He's a Tadaric. He's one of those guys. He's going to refer to himself as Tadaric. Tadaric likes Tadaric's eggs sunny side up. He is that guy, and I am sorry that I have to play him that way. That's me apologizing, not to Derek. It's confusing because
Sorry for nothing.
if it was to Derek, it would be to Derek doesn't have to apologize to any of you. To Derek is look at to Derek. To Derek is the ever levitating. That is literally his name of the character sheet. To Derek, the ever levitating.
Cool.
Beard check. To Derek
has a very, very thin mustache.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
no, that's true. It's very ratty.
yeah,
I'm right here.
look.
Sorry, Matthew.
Okay.
So yeah,
um,
very thin, but also
If I had
also
facial
like
hair at some
that.
point, it's very deep inside of the glop that
so
is
part
me.
of making the deals and studying the power of the magic sorcery that gives you guys the power is that it warps your body. It changes you as you change the world around it. And to Schlop's point, nature and the nature of the druids don't really care about humanity other than humanity's crimes, or whether, if they can bring humanity over to not being world destroying dipshits, great, but otherwise maybe kill all the humans. um
Kill all humans? Question mark.
Kill all humans! Exclamation point.
It won't.
what if we kiss while killing all the humans? um uh through your various I wouldn't call them patrons. You haven't sold your soul, you haven't made any dark deals. You've just gained power, and through that power changed and come into contact with uh I wouldn't even say a greater intelligence, just kind of the natural network, the mycelium network of the world and the universe as a whole speaks through into you. Um, Schlop, you have been brought to this swamp, uh, which is a very natural place for you to be brought. You feel right at home. Rathu, you tend to make your home in sewers and in,
Mhm.
empty warehouses, things like that. A swarm of rats carried you from where you were sleeping and has deposited you
Perfect.
in
The
this
only way to
swamp.
travel.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah, I
it's a
feel good
really
about
good
it.
way to travel, though, y'all. And to Derek, um, you are stumping me. No, you're not. I'm way too smart for that. A You sense a disturbance in the Earth's gravitational field, and that draws you, as these other two, to the swamp. The three of you find yourselves on a small pier. If you want to take a moment to size each other up, you can, but you are immediately, upon seeing one another, aware that each of you is a druid that has some kind of connection to the greater cycle of the natural world. Uh, it's not necessarily that makes you like immediate allies or friends, but it does mean that essentially you're on the same side of the playing board. Um, and at the very least, you have a common enemy in the forces of, again, nihilistic decay.
I feel very at home, so I'm comfortable enough to sort of compliment and welcome my friends and say, well, and rats, they're age-old companions since the dawn of ratdom, and moldkind has flourished ever since then. So we're team players. And to Derek, the ever levitating, without gravity, what would mold be? We rely on it to help our spore clouds disperse and to provide a pattern for us to grow in. And again, I just look forward to working with you guys. Isn't this swamp beautiful?
Yeah, it really is. kind of looking around, seeing if there's any like swamp rats running around. And I'll look at Derek. Did you get sent here by the temp agency or?
Derek felt that it was Derek's place to be here, and thus Derek has came.
There are small rocks floating around Derek, kind of like orbiting him. As he passes by you, Matthew, one of your rats is kind of picked up in that gravitational field and is slowly orbiting to Derek. It panics for a second.
Is the rat into it?
It panics for a second and then is like, okay, wait a second. My points feel pretty good. This is pretty, okay. And it just kind of rolls over and starts scratching its own belly.
Rocco
like,
had some sort of arthritis sort of thing. His joints were really hurt, so that probably felt really good for him.
Derek reaches out and caresses.
Does rat have faces?
Well, with his like, he's got a lisp.
Big old choppers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Got
no,
them
You know how
teeth.
you can, you know how you can hear how toothy Gary Busey is? It's the same thing with Rathu.
Yeah, something to that effect.
I honestly thought it was just all cocaine.
He's 10 years old. Where's being a
Busey,
fight
for Busey.
blow? Oh, for Busey.
Yeah,
Oh,
Gary
okay.
Busey gave
No,
cocaine.
He was
Here's my hookup, you guys.
Yeah, your plug. Listen to any recording of Gary Busey and just think about his teeth being 2 sizes too big for his mouth, and his voice makes total sense.
True.
Yeah. The rest of him not so much, but yeah.
I mean, the car couldn't have helped though.
No, probably not. Completely.
After a few moments of you trying to kind of get your bearings and like you're here, you're not sure why. There's a rustle from the east, and a small woman kind of emerges from the underbrush. And when I say small, she's like 3 feet tall, maybe. Old woman, bent over. Picture a crone, right? She has slightly greenish skin, slightly greenish hair. She is kind of the quintessential swamp hag. And she looks between the three of you, and then heaves a mighty sigh, and a throne of mangrove roots rises from the swamp, and she kind of hobbles over to it and sits down heavily.
That's cool.
You came. Good. There is a despoiler encroaching on my swamp. A man who calls himself a genius, who dabbles in electric vehicles and space travel. He feels he is above the laws of nature, above the laws of this world. I thought he was just an arrogant ass. I thought he was an imbecile. But he is in league with far greater evil than just human stupidity. She kind of slumps over in her throne and rests her head. It's obvious she is worn the fuck out.
Yeah.
All three of you are not new druids, but you're also not like ancient, like this woman obviously is. You know that for a druid to be this fatigued, especially in like the middle of a swamp, in the middle of a natural place, something has been draining her, and it's likely that she kind of went to battle and got her ass handed to her.
The only thing that I would ask her is, where do we find him? Because I I hate all of the things she just said about this guy equally, in addition to hating all humans on principle. So,
Mhm.
like, you know, he's got a hard on for Mars. I've got a hard on for mold murder. So,
Oh, well, I didn't say anything about Mars. I'm not talking about anyone specifically.
Let's just take him out before he buys a website that people
I'm
like.
I'm just adding to the narrative,
Oh,
John.
no, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry. Yes, and
Yeah, just riffing.
I worry most for you, Schlop. His demons grant him mastery over swift replication, deranged
Well.
replication, unnatural replication.
Okay, so it'll be a war of the organic versus inorganic replication. I put my money on organic on that one. So I thank her for her forewarning, because forewarned is forearmed. And to make the point, I just grow 4 little pseudopody arms for a second.
I like it.
And yeah,
Um,
yeah, I'm bipedal, but it's kind of indistinct.
it's kind of like your
you know?
choice to be bipedal, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't pay attention to the human news in society anymore. I haven't for decades. But he calls himself X.
X.
X. I don't know. Look, I know it's stupid. You know it's stupid.
No, it's pretty dumb.
But
It is very stupid.
Exomancer thinks it's very cool. I don't know why.
Tadaric
Yeah,
can't stand people like that.
Time traveler from the 1990s? I don't know. Yeah. Derek also, I've decided, speaks in the Tadaric person. It's distinct from the third person.
I like that.
Yeah.
So
where do we find X? And I even like I have to put quotes around it, even saying it.
Right.
Like,
I'm surprised not calling him Tweet. Anyway, to the north, you'll have to cross at least 2 small human settlements in the swamp. They are not terribly harmful, but neither are they're humans.
Totally shuck. Got it.
Do with that what you will. Once you pass the Leviathan skull, you'll know you're close. You'll know you're close by the mark of his foul magics and disgusting automatons.
All right. As we're, again, thank her for her wisdom. Do you guys have any questions for the swamp? I don't like hag, swamp maiden. I'm gonna call her, despite her age. You know,
she appreciates that.
I
have no negative connotations to the word hag.
No, I mean neither. I'm just saying. My beauty standards are slightly different than the human norm, being a sentient pile of moldy gunk. Yeah.
Well, listening to most of this, I was still kind of like, I was getting the gist of it, but I was still looking for more rodents kind of scurrying around in the swamp. But we take out X, and he's got big robots and a couple swamps away. Got it. Cool. Don't happen to have any cookies or anything on you, do you? No, never mind. That's okay.
You want some swamp cookies?
Well, I mean, sure. If you're holding any swamp cookies, that'd be great. It'd be better than what Gary Busey had over there.
That's actually what I call shrooms, swamp cookies.
I think we're on the same page then.
You'll be able to find any sustenance you want in the human towns.
Eat the humans.
Any
Got it.
Man-made sustenance.
True enough.
Cannibalism.
I wasn't stopping there. Yeah, I'm fine with whatever. I'm down
He's
for whatever.
DTE.
As we're, yeah. To Derek, do you have any questions before we set off on our journey?
Oh, to Derek has a number of questions about life, the universe, existence, how actually heavy can mold be? No, nothing of relevance that could currently
Okay.
help.
So to Derek, as we're moseying away from the Swamp Maiden after thanking her for her wisdom and our murder mission, I put it that way. Like I say to Derek, speaking of murder, like what are your feelings about humans, to Derek?
Humans exist. Rats exist. Mold
true.
exists. You're all beneath the likes of he levitates higher and picks up like several things from around him, and it's just like you only merely exist amongst to Derek.
Modest. I like that. I'm gonna
Yeah.
reach up for
Yep.
Rocco. It's like, no, you don't hang out with this guy. He's really into himself.
He's not like so far gone where he's going full Dr. Manhattan, where it's just like hanging out swinging. But like if his clothes got
Why
blasted,
not?
Because there's a child in the party.
Oh, that's true. Question retracted.
Question answered, to be honest.
Yeah. So all that, megalomania generally leads to people to be pretty cool with murder. So I'm like, all right, to Derek, the ever levitating almighty one, let's proceed to the human settlement. I'm rubbing my moldy little hands together as we're walking along.
Yeah, so you get through, it takes a few minutes, and in most role-playing game campaigns, going through the swamp would entail lots of random encounters, lots of like alligators, snakes, mosquitoes the size of a pug attacking. But you guys are druids, and the natural world ain't really fucking with you all that much.
We were born into this.
Molded by it.
Literally.
Yeah, molded by it. Yeah.
Well, Derek merely adopted it.
And I could have gone with the. Yeah.
I was adopted into it.
God damn it. We are incorrigible. You don't get fucked with by the critters of the swamp. It is possible, like Rathiu, occasionally you will have problems with like snakes and other things that eat rats. Like if there was a hawk mage, like you guys might butt heads because they would see you and your kin as food. But you get the feeling that even the animals that would be like aggressive towards you guys have been kind of pacified by the maiden of the swamp.
Also, common enemy.
To give you guys common enemy. So we're going to kind of speed along some of the flavor of you traveling through the swamp because y'all are good. It's all fine. You get to the first settlement. It's about 7 little houses. These are obviously fishermen. You know, they do the fishing through the swamp. They trawl for shrimp and crawdads, then take them to the town and sell them by the goddamn ton. These people have probably lived in harmony with the swamp for generations. But they're also probably people who have been pretty happy to see new businesses opening up and are excited at the job opportunities despite what it is obviously doing to the swamp. So with that in mind, it's kind of your choice how to approach this little human settlement.
Well, let's see.
Is murder the case they gave him?
Murder is the case they gave me. I'm picking among my many mental molds to figure out which one I'd like to send their way first. This is I feel like grandfather Nurgle himself, like, ooh, all my little plagues I get to pick from. Like
Going through your Rolodex, the mold.
Yeah. Let's just go with the classic black mold. I'd like to generate and just like enormous Mobius strip of black mold to hang in the air, and I would like to implore Derek if he would deign to help me out a little bit to send that hurtling toward the human settlement and disperse it.
Okay.
Yeah, much like in the Mir space station, just a little bit of mold gets up there with gravity low, the spores just go everywhere. So I lessen the gravity before all this happens. So,
all right, let's do our first rolls of the night.
Sounds
so
good.
this game uses the badass system, the same system that Spider League is built on. Basically, that means you get two stats. One of those stats is your sorcery skill, which you choose a specific sorcery. In this case, moldomancy, gravomancy, and rat alchemy.
Verminmancy.
Yeah,
Vermomancy. I think they called it mold chemist is what I think I called it. Mold chemie. But and then you have a second stat, which is your badass score. And badass is used not only as your doing stuff stat, but also your hit points. So for this roll, giant Mobius strip of black mold, I'm going to give that a pain point of pretty low. I'm going to give it a 3.
Oh.
So Charles, roll your badass plus your sorcery.
And
so that is, okay. I said a pain point of 3, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
You passed.
Oh,
yeah.
You just barely. Hooray! And Mr. Patchkey, yes. I would need you to do the same thing. All right, cool. I'll give that to you. What you're trying to do isn't particularly difficult at this point. You're summoning some black mold and you're lowering the gravity. It's nothing too insane. You see a massive Mobius strip, right? The inverted infinity sign, the 8, float above the settlement, and for all the world, it looks like a stream of buzzing flies. It makes your teeth itch to even look at it. As something outside of the realm of human understanding buzzes and chitters within that black mass. You hear the laughter in your skull of something that knows that humankind isn't forever, but mold is. And then it is grabbed by gravity, slammed down into the center of the settlement as gravity is suddenly increased, and then lowered. You hear shouts of panic as people slowly float above their beds or find their steps not landing quite right. And then you start to hear coughing and hacking as black mold disperses itself throughout the settlement.
Shouldn't have bought those dumbass stainless steel trucks, y'all.
They're rusty as fuck and also filled with mold.
Yep.
So I will say that no one dies immediately.
Yeah.
They all have black mold in their lungs now, which is not a great way to be.
No, but not
But
immediately.
they're still
fatal.
alive. Is your plan to allow them to slowly die a painful, moldy death? Or are y'all going to do anything else in this village before you
I've
pass
made my
through?
move. Y'all are free to do as thou wilt.
I mean, we could just Brittany Murphy
That should be
him.
the whole of the wall. You're gonna tie them to a radiator?
No, Brittany Murphy and her husband, like back in like when died because they had black mold in their shower and they didn't know about it, and it wasn't until the husband died where they're like, oh, that's why they died.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Huh.
Yeah, that was the thing.
I always thought okay.
By the way, everyone check for black mold. It can literally kill
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
It will.
Yep.
Not can. Will. Wants to.
Yeah.
Okay, Rafi, is there anything you want to do?
Actually,
or are you going to let them?
No. As they're creating this, whatever the hell is going on, Rathy's going to kind of sit like crisscross applesauce, bring out a scepter, and just kind of like mutter to himself and kind of chirp to himself. And he wants to conjure up as many rats as he possibly can in whatever as far out as he can, and he wants to tell them to gnaw through all of the electrical wires in all of the settlement, like all the houses, anything that's pulling power, because he's thinking, well, this guy got automatons, and the low thinker power, so why?
Okay.
He's basically just shut down as much of the electricity in this place, in this
I do want to
settlement
point
as
out
possible.
that we just got a guest appearance by Babette, and
Yep.
that I love her dearly.
Oh, she's my darling.
So, okay, go ahead and roll me your sorcery check here. I'm gonna
just sorcery or
sorcery
badass
and
as well?
badass. So, whenever you want to do something that isn't magical, you're going to roll your badass. Whenever you want to do something magical, you always roll your sorcery plus your badass.
Got it. So first 6, that's a 6, 5, 4, and 3, 2, 2, and then 6, 6, 5, 4.
Good God, that's what 7 successes.
Yeah, I
That
think
is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will definitely do it. I gave you a really high pain point on this one, and you knocked it out of the park. So, you guys are kind of like watching the black mold disperse, you hear chittering. You hear so much chittering and rustling, and I think you might be on mute, Charles. I can't hear him.
Mr. Bernard.
Someone else say something.
hello.
Okay.
How about now? Can you hear me
There
now?
you are.
Yes, now we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry.
Uh,
When I was unmuting, it didn't press down hard enough. Yeah, I just adorable chittering and adorable
It is.
wrestling.
Rats are fucking cute.
They are.
Yeah.
You see those adorable little red eyes glinting in the murky darkness of the swamp, and there's thousands of them because Rafu just cast summon all the rats in the middle of a swamp. And you see Rafu again, 10-year-old kid kind of stand up with a he has a scepter. Hey Rafi, what does your scepter look like?
What it looks like is just it kind of just looks like a branch with looks like it's just been gnawed on. Could have been from the other rats, could have been from him, and it's just it's got kind of like a knot at the end. It's not very big. He's a little kid. It's but kind of at the end, you can tell he's been kind of chewing away at it, so it kind of resembles a rat's tail as well. Not the haircut, but an actual tail of a rat. And it's kind of a work in progress. He might gnaw a little rat head at the tip of it. You know,
I like it. No, I
he's
love it.
working on it.
Yeah.
He's a kid.
I would have
Yeah.
also accepted it is a stick that you have just like jammed some cheese on top of. Would have been perfectly acceptable as well.
Ooh.
Here, I was imagining a
That's good too.
discarded like Disneyland like souvenir Mickey Mouse wand.
Oh, that's a good question. Matthew, do you have a Mickey Mouse hat?
No, because I'm not a mouse. I'm a fucking rat.
It's hey,
I got nothing
apologize.
against the mics. They're cool and all,
Language,
but
young man. Language.
I'm
young
sorry.
man.
I wasn't raised right, obviously. Just kidding, Rocco. We're good. We're solid, bud.
So is Rocco your dad?
No, Rocco's my main rat, my main dude.
No, I know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you said you weren't raised right, and then you said sorry, Rocco.
The rats raised me. I bounced from foster home to foster home, so the rats basically raised me. So
Okay.
I was just
So
yeah.
but
I'll
your
stop
main
asking
foster rat
questions.
though is your main foster rat Rocco.
Yeah, that's the one that was orbiting around you.
So he's sort of your adoptive rat father.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's he's getting up there in years. That's why when he was floating
Yeah.
around Timu,
Sideric.
Dr. Manhattan there, it kind of helped his arthritis.
Give me a
and-
moment. Give me a good moment. That's very good.
Is that a step above Wish?
It's, kind of
It's slightly
below.
it's the new Wish. It's
Yeah.
the new Wish. So
Craigslist Dr. Manhattan.
don't look that up. You don't want to know.
Yeah, don't. I did buy a Dr. Manhattan statue off of Craigslist.
Oh.
It was just a dude that painted himself blue and showed up at my house naked.
I said I was
and out of
smart.
10 would order again.
I,
But,
I have the same one.
well,
I have the same exact action figure.
he gets
I
around.
have so much blue paint. Now I know what to do.
It's the one blue man group. Yeah.
You see, God, where were we? God, we're still on the
Mhm.
first action.
So many
you
rats.
see,
Yeah.
you see Matthew. His eyes are kind of going that same feral rat red, and he is, waving his scepter around, gathering all the rats, and then he chitters something in the language of rodents and points at the village. You just see rats, a tidal wave of rodents sweep over this mold encrusted village of people that were just trying to fish.
Fuck 'em.
It occurs to you,
Mhm.
it occurs to you, Raphu, that you may have done some overkill, as there are rats coating everything now. This town is
I
buried
see
under
no problem
rats.
in any of this.
Yeah, it's
I love it so much.
it's a town for the rats now.
the li-
That's all.
The lights go off. The lights fade. The only light left is that of the moon above your heads. And it is very noisy. I was about to say the only sound you hear is, but you hear a lot of sound. You're in the middle of the swamp. 1, 2, there's about 200,000 rats. They're not quiet critters. And 3rd, for some reason, there's a lot of screaming happening.
I think our work is done.
Yep.
Yup.
On to the next
Um,
one.
You,
Success.
the 3 of you, walk through the street. The rats parting like the Red Sea ahead of you. Here's the thing. You told the rats to chew through the electrical
Mhm.
wires. You did not tell them what to do once they were done. And so once they were done, they decided to eat everything. Food, wood, paper, animals, people. There's not going to be a lot left here.
No, I feel good
but
about
you're
it. They
probably
need
okay
a new
with
home.
that. Yeah.
Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
Yeah.
All things are below to Derek the ever levitating, literally, because he's higher than you guys,
Yep.
elevation wise.
Yep.
As you get through, you feel a surge of dopamine. To Derek and Matthew, it feels great. It is all right. You know that this is. You know that this is a conditioned response. That something is rewarding you for doing what it wants. But having abandoned humanity, that doesn't necessarily make you angry or upset, right? You made this deal. You've made this decision to abandon humanity, and the joy you feel at this sort of wanton destruction at the hand of natural forces, even if they are unnaturally controlled, just feels right. I don't know that slime mold can feel dopamine.
There's a slime mold equivalent, I'm sure. Some sort of chemical that says yum food or whatever.
I think what you feel, Schlop, is every time you do something that furthers the cause of this war, your connection to the mycelium network deepens.
Cool.
You know that all fungal mages eventually lose all sense of self, all identity, and are subsumed by the mycelium network. How do you feel about that? Are you looking forward to that, or is it something you kind of dread?
No, I think that when I left humanity behind to heed the collective voice of the slime mold, just very much looking forward to having my human individuality dissolved into the murk. I'll work hard until that happens, but when it does happen, happy is not the right word, but it'll be like the completion of the process, you know.
Nice.
That is something to a greater, or there is fungal mages embody this more than any other kind of druids, but in your heart of hearts, you know that that's kind of your fate. Is eventually you won't be Rathiu anymore. You will just be the rats. To Derek, I think your school is so seldom practiced. Your form of sorcery is so seldomly practiced that you don't know what's going to happen to you, but you do know that you are changing. You continue to evolve as you grow more powerful.
Okay.
And that's rad.
Derek, maybe to Derek will become a black hole.
Maybe that's why he's the only gravity mage, is because once he reaches full maturation, it's all over for everyone.
Been time
one per planet. Yeah. One per system. Yeah.
Rathiu, go ahead and give yourself 1 point of badass for summoning 200,000 rats. I like that.
Job well done.
Yeah. There's 2 more human settlements on the way, but it's very important to me that we reach the Exomancer. So we're going to move this on along. I'm just going to ask. Tell me what you want to do at the next human settlement.
I decided the fate of the last one. I like on my own. I feel like someone else gets to pick this time.
You can.
I mean, I couldn't have done it without you, Derek, but I came, ready to go.
So you can leave it alone, you can eradicate it, or you can just make it super uncomfortable for everyone.
Oh, I like super uncomfortable.
I'm good with super uncomfortable.
How do we feel if we just
Flying rat infestation?
We can rat infest it, but follow me on this. What if we just lessen the gravity enough where they're still like coming down to the ground, but like if you get bumped, you're gonna go up like 30 feet, and it's gonna take you like a half hour before you're gonna actually land.
Ooh,
Like just really inconvenience everyone there.
I love it.
So
Plus, you know that those floating bags of meat are going to be good eating for vultures.
Yeah.
Or things of
They're gonna be
nature,
super
so
tender.
I love it. Mm-hmm.
okay.
in it. Yes.
All right. I'm trying to think of how that would work. Because you don't want to permanently ruin the gravity in a place. But you do want to permanently ruin these people's lives, is what I'm hearing.
Okay. How can I gravity ruin their stuff?
Can you do it temporarily so they get used to having that level of gravity, and all of a sudden it just goes away and they just plummet to the ground?
What if
No?
I've been playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom?
Okay.
What if I take the entire human settlement and I make it a floating island in the sky? So now they are just stuck
I love it.
50 plus feet in the air.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go
once
ahead
you're
and
up
roll me.
there, you're fine, but up and down is a problem.
Go ahead and roll me.
I mean, they'll be able to like they'll weave a rope eventually or whatever. But yeah,
Mhm.
make it a pain in their ass. I
Go
love
ahead
it.
and roll me your. Go ahead and roll me everything. This one's gonna be rough. This is gonna be a hard one.
How many D6? 20?
10.
Okay.
10 D10.
All right, fine. All right, so there's a 5, there's a 6, there's a 4. Those, let's not talk about those two. We don't need those two. And there's another 6. There's another 6. There's 3, and you. We're not going to talk about you, and I don't think you're going to matter either.
Okay. So, okay. Derek waves you guys back and floats forward very much with the like, behold the source of true power. Oh, he probably does the he's probably very like, Derek is going to show you how Derek does this. And he reaches out and he concentrates on lifting this entire settlement, ripping it out of the earth. But that doesn't happen. What does happen is a single double-story house is ripped from the ground, floats into the air, 50 feet. You see a woman scream as she falls from the floor that's been ripped off the foundation. You see a crib plummet down. Both things are impaled on the rebar that was left. Trigger warning.
Nope,
Read
just
it
the crib.
onto
No one
a
said there's a
baby.
baby in there. Okay, disregard that.
There's a baby in there.
And the gravity increases around just the baby.
The baby's got its own gravitational pull, just sucking everything closer to it.
Oh yeah, no. There's who else can I piss off? Oh, a dog whips through the air, drawn to the baby's gravity, and just wraps around the rebar. But there's a baby dog conglomerate mass there.
It calls us Edward for some reason.
After like 2 minutes, the house falls back down on top of the woman whose leg was skewered by the rhubarb.
Yeah.
Rebar.
And a
And
rhubarb.
something happens to the massive animal baby. No one knows. I don't know. You guys don't know.
Yeah.
They're probably fine. To Derek, do you want to say anything after your failed attempt, or do you want to pretend like you meant to do that, or what's up?
I did it.
So what you hear to Derek, motherfucker, I fucking all is how I meant. I mean, to Derek willed it. To Derek will again, and you see the cracks forming into Derek's like belief in himself.
His frail ego.
He's a little flustered by this. He's going to continue to pretend to be godlike, but you know, that kind of failure in his mind it's gotten to
Are
him.
you saying?
So
Are you saying that to Derek the ever levitating is going to be a little more down to
Get
earth
out.
from now
No.
on?
Not at all. If anything, now he's gonna have to make up
Worse.
for it.
Mr. Patsky, go ahead and lose a point of badass.
Okay.
And gain a point of ire.
Oh.
Ire is a new stat for Overgrowth. Basically, you gain a point whenever you fail a roll. It can be used to add one success to a roll, or if you run out of badass, it can substitute your badass for a limited time. But once your ire and your badass are gone, you're dead. To be reclaimed by nature. Probably in a spectacularly gruesome fashion.
We can only hope.
You guys, before I go on, does anyone else want to do anything about this settlement, or y'all just gonna mosey on down and let them deal with the tragedy you have
I feel
brought?
good about it.
I feel like a
Mhm.
message has been sent. I'm not sure what the message is, but it has been sent.
I do feel like Wandering Monster. I feel good about it. Should be our next merch item. About it.
Yeah. Whenever we get those t-shirts, Wandering Monster, I feel good about it.
Exactly. with the cast standing in front of a village being devoured by rats. With that, yeah, exactly. Right. As you move on, you're as much on dry land as you are having to kind of slosh through. Well, Matthew, you're having to slosh through water.
I feel like I'm like
yeah.
being carried by a moving carpet of rats.
A rat
You're on your-
palanquin.
I think it's a rat.
Raft rat. Yes.
Rat. Rat.
Yeah.
To Derek, you're probably floating above the swamp and Schlop.
And I'm oozing right along.
Yeah.
Foot
Again,
loose
probably
and
right on top of the water. You're probably like
oozing right
algae on
along.
this bad boy.
Yeah.
You're quite
Parts of me
literally stung.
are, yeah. Parts of me are quite buoyant.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Same.
I'm an all-terrain type of guy.
After leaving that last settlement, you're beginning to see unnatural things. You first see trees with like cancerous looking growths and instead of bulbous tumors have veins that run through them, the veins of these are kind of glowing electric blue, as if it's organic tumors with circuitry powering it. the trees are the first thing you see, but it doesn't take long before. Everyone, I'd like you to roll me initiative. That's 1d6 plus your badass.
Let's see. 8.
Ooh, that's nice.
Oh, Kevin, my notebook, got some Simone art, got my Field of the Vase sticker.
Nice.
Bam. All right. Charles, what's your initiative?
8 combined.
8. Mr. Patchkey?
So my badass is 12, or my badass is 6. I rolled a 6, so that's 12.
Mm-hmm.
I got a
7.
7.
Okay. So, Kevin and this motherfucker. Okay. As you guys are walking through, what is this? Shark pen. As you guys are walking through ambulating through the swamp in your various forms, you hear the best way to describe this would be if you played pig snorts through a electronic voice changer. Oh, if T-Pain was a pig,
Auto-tuned.
it would sound like
Okay.
this. T-Pain, if you're watching this, you're not a pig. You're awesome and I love you. And if you still are mad, contact Joe Rogan. And out of the foliage comes a massive boar. This thing is easily 200-300 pounds of muscle, tumors, and jagged steel tusks.
Wow. E3PORK.
Between its one of its eyes is small and piggy and sunken. The other is just bulbous, as if it's being pushed out by a brain tumor. You can see there's goop running down its face from that eye. In the middle of its head is a X in chrome. And it is snorting and about to charge, but maybe you started it because I rolled a fucking 1. So, Mr. Pashke, what do you want to do about this this crazy boar?
All right, so the crazy boar is coming out, and to Derek just goes, "Not today, piggy," and just takes one finger and does this kind of a motion. And as he does that, he increases the gravity to that, enough that it should flatten the boar into the ground.
Okay. Roll me your sorcery plus badass.
Sorcery plus badass. All right. Oh wait, I'm down a badass. So my roll from the previous time, I forgot to remove that because I wrote a note here and not there. So it's 1 less. So I was 11. Don't know if that affects anything. Just thought I'd be honest.
You're still first.
Yeah. All right. So it'll be 9 instead of 10. All right, then I'm rolling now. Okay. So that.
Okay. That's 3 successes, which is slightly higher than the boar's roll, which I should write down here and not on something I can't erase. So boar. The boar. You kind of. And you guys see the boar kind of buckle and sink into the muck a little before it shakes off his attack and which is not a pig noise, and I hate it. Schlop, what do you want to do about this?
You said that one of its eyes is sunken and kind of whatever.
The bulging out and seeping.
Bulging out and seeping.
Yes, sir.
Well, seeping usually means an infection, which usually means some manner of thing that I can interact with. So I would just like to get on that eyeball and supercharge that infection's growth rate by a factor of like, I don't know, 1 or 2 million. So let's see how that goes. Let me see. Sorcery and Badass are still 10.
As soon as you kind of make magic contact with the seeping, you know immediately it is not your stuff. It is unnatural. This is while replication is natural and some variation as per evolution is natural, this is cancerous. This is not only cancerous, but there's also a weird like man-made factor to it that's like an anathema to what you do. But you're able to kind of inject your own disgusting vileness into this and explode it out, right? Microbial organisms times a billion fill the thing's head, and that eye just pops out and dangles from its optic nerve. It like and like it bumps its eye against its cheek, and it takes a big bite and rips it out of its skull, and chomps on its own eye for a second. It staggers a little and then looks at you and paws at the muck. It is probably going to come after you.
Seeing him rip out his own eyeball after it popped out, he's going to gesture for the rats that are around him to go into said eyeball and gnaw their way through his skull.
Eye socket.
Right? Eye socket. Yes, eye socket. Cool. Sorry.
Yeah, that would have been my move too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sorcery
Charles,
plus badass.
Charles at a point of badass. Kevin at a point of badass.
Before I roll or after? Oh, okay.
The rats, and they leap. They climb up the boar's legs and just drill into like a little botfly. Just dives in. You see the little legs kicking as they dig in. Just like Charles, you feel the disgusting presence of unnatural magic and man-made greed powering this thing. Because you rolled really well, I'm also going to tell you that here's all of it. After this thing falls down, it's dead. They ate this thing's brain. One of the rats runs out to you, and in its little paws is a blinking red light.
Oh, it's got deer.
Oh shit! We found the test patient.
I'm gonna go over to.
we found the volunteer.
I'm gonna go over to Derek, and it's like, do you know what this thing is? It's blinking. It's kind of neat looking good. I'm gonna hand it up to Derek. He seems smart.
So Derek levitates it up and peers into it.
Land.
To Derek does not currently know what this is.
Go ahead and roll me a badass. Yeah.
Okay. Rolling a badass.
You are pretty smart.
All right, so that's
rolling just your badass.
Yeah, I had 5 dice out of. Oh, wait, no, that would have been a 1 then, because I shouldn't have re-rolled it because I have 5 and not 6. My bad.
Okay.
All right, so that would have been a 6, a 1, not a 3, 2 3s, and a 4.
Okay. You aren't sure, but it looks a lot like an air tag
Okay.
to you. And if you were a gambling man, you would probably think there are more things on their way.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, if there's more things on their way, our options are either I could try to increase the gravity to slow them down or decrease it to make us have a faster time to leave. It's an option.
I was thinking giving it to one of the rats to have it take off to the first settlement where the rats have taken over to get them off of our trail.
Okay.
Oh,
So like embed it into a rat.
summon back your army
Or
of
just,
200,000
I mean, one of the
rats.
rats just handed it to me. I could just like, hey, go take it to the where all the friends are and let them have fun.
So it'd be a trap,
Yeah.
basically. Like the other animals would follow the tracking chip to a nest of 200,000 rats and a bunch of black mold. I love
It's
that
very
idea.
good.
Mm-hmm. I concur.
And also, by the way, to Derek, I don't see any reason why you couldn't, like, if we all got on top of something, like a log or whatever, like I think you could probably fly us to where we're going
Ooh.
with your
Yeah,
gravity ability.
I
I mean,
like
there's no
that.
reason that you couldn't make gravity at a 40 or 35-degree angle so that, like, we take off and then you, like, reduce it in such a way that, you know, we would just have to be careful not to, like, if you rolled it wrong, we might crash and break our necks, but
You
that
know, I
our
mean,
fate would be in the hands of our cruel and merciless dungeon master.
I have never been cruel nor merciless.
but yeah,
That's true.
Way too kind.
I like this idea.
You've
so,
never flung. You've only impaled one baby, John. You've never flung an entire, bucket full of boiling oil at a room full of children.
Yeah, I wonder who would have
We're
ever
gonna
done
use the
that.
child killing
Huh.
scale of GM World. Yeah.
Please don't read any of my books if you have a problem with any of the things we've just said. I'm not saying that there's an untoward amount of dead, like, harm to children in my books, but I'm not saying there's
Boy,
not.
there are in my last one.
I'm not
There
saying
are in
there's
my
not,
last one.
right?
Yeah.
And if you
Like,
have
yeah.
read the books and you don't like what happened to him, remember, email Joe Rogan.
We decided, I think, that we were going to give the tracker to one of Rathu's rats to take it back to Rat Town, as I'm now calling it.
I love it.
Where the rats and black mold should make short work of anything that comes a calling.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep.
All right. That sounds good. I'm not going to make you roll for that.
You guys want to try and fly a log to the final boss?
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. I'm just, what's the most elaborate log we can get? Just a log seems a little boring, but I don't want to fly a car. Flying cars are a
Yeah.
horrible decision.
Mhm.
Anti-flying car, just real life Charles Pesci
Yeah.
here.
There are some Cybertrucks back at the settlement.
Plus, not very nature of
No
it.
thanks.
Yeah, so it's got to be something organic.
That would be extra funny. That would be extra fucking funny, though. To fly one of those rusty ass trucks. You know what, though? Yeah, we want to stick with organic to be. You know, it is a very Manichaean sort of spirituality we belong to, and you know, we don't want to use tech to fight tech. So let's find nice. And I wish we had that mangrove.
You're
drone
in
that
the
we could
middle
fly
of a
on.
swamp.
That
There
thing
are
was dope.
mangroves everywhere. And
None of them
that's
are
true.
thrones, but yeah, we should pick something cool. I don't
What
know.
if I told you
What's your pleasure, to Derek?
to Derek?
Go
I
on,
was going to
John.
say, if you want, perhaps there is a large mangrove tree that had been hit by lightning, and so it was kind of burnt and had that rad-like patterning on it. Already dead, so you don't have to feel bad about ripping it out of the swamp.
Sustainably harvested. Fantastic.
Perfect.
All right, everyone.
Reclaimed. You're like the hipsters of the druid world.
Lightning. Yeah, lightning is a sustainable form of harvesting, if somewhat slow and unpredictable.
Yeah.
All right, let's fly this bitch.
Yes. With that in mind, to Derek, I'm going to ask you for a sorcery roll.
Sorcery. Got a 5. Got a 3. Got a 2. Got a 1.
Your sorcery is your sorcery
Contact.
plus your badass.
Oh, okay, fantastic. All right, cool. So I at
No
least
problem. No problem, friend.
I was just rolling the sorcery base. Cool. So that's an extra 5. So 6, 6. Let me shut up with that one, and then 2 4s, which so that's 3. Or
That's
4 count?
5.
That's
4
5.
count, my friend.
Ooh.
I wonder if you would have passed some of your earlier rolls.
Mayhaps I would have. Too late now.
4 or better passes. Cool. You guys mount this mangrove and lift off into the air. You, Kevin, Schlop and Rathu, both of you get this intense feeling of dread as you kind of levitate. It's not the same feeling you got when you made contact with that boulder. It's just knowing that the end of all things is also part of nature. And that's kind of the cosmic power that's being tapped into. It's very different than yours, but it is still part of what will happen. And at first it's very disorienting, right? Because you fight against the nihilistic entropy of greed and capitalism. That's your entire life purpose. And for a second it feels very similar, right? It's the end of everything. But there's this intrinsic difference that you can feel in the hidden meat of your brain between the end caused by greed and the natural end of the natural closing of the chapter of all things. And you have to deal with that knowledge.
Perfect.
Yeah. Enjoy the inevitable heat death of the universe.
I'm reading Thomas Ligotti now, by the way, so enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're starting to think like I think.
Now we're cooking with methane. But yeah, you are now flying through the air, and you can see X the Exomancer, which is just somehow even dumber than X the Eliminator. You see his giant sprawling industrial complex off in the distance at the far end of the swamp. It's shaped like an X.
Of course it fucking
There's
is.
an army of I think someone's obsession with X is one of the funniest things there is. Because like Charles mentioned, it's such like a lame 90s thing that's just like, so you never grew out of that, huh?
Yeah.
There's an army of steel, like they look like combat trucks, but useless in front. And you see just like these veins of cancerous growth laced with those cybernetic circuits kind of reaching out from his stronghold into the swamp. And where those tendrils meet the swamp, you can see the water is boiling and thick. The animals are sick and dying, or worse, mutating and being subsumed by this cancerous technology. Whatever demonic force is empowering X is strong, and it's obvious that it is well fed and powerful. Who wants to roll me a badass check?
I've probably got one of the lower badasses in the group, so not me.
Yeah, you have a really high sorcery and a really low badass.
I got a badass of 7. Oh, I could do it.
You have the highest You are a little kid with the highest badass and the lowest sorcery.
That's awesome. Naturally, yeah. Well, I mean, the lowest sorcery. A little kid should have the highest both. Like actually,
It should, but I love the idea of like a Mordecai-esque little kid. That's just like, what's this little kid going to do? People's elbow.
Yeah.
I got 5 out of 7 successes.
Jiminy, you're also rolling like a goddamn rock star today.
Yeah, that is.
Yep.
Just like I did last week on Pirate Borg. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you were running nuts.
You
Make sure to oil those dice nice and give them a nice massage. Let them know that you appreciate
I will
them.
Let them tea.
You see X. I have to like stop myself from saying his name every single time. You see X on top of his complex. He is wearing let's say Louis Vuitton bathrobe. Completely open, pale, fleshy body, just kind of like wiggling in the wind. As he lifts his hands to the sky, ostensibly chanting. But you see, as he's doing this, the tendrils of cancer and corruption are flexing and writhing and growing. He is in the midst of a ritual to spread his cancerous power right this second.
So, do we get initiative on that?
Yes. Please roll initiative.
Okay.
You are
right.
going to get the first go to start because he doesn't know you're there yet.
We're still in the air, right?
Yes, you are still in the air. Charles, what'd you get?
Oh, all of us have to roll. I'm sorry, I was there. And rolling combined sorcery and badass.
Plus your badass score.
Oh, 1d6 plus badass. All right. So the combined on that would be 7.
Patsky?
9.
And Kevin?
10.
Okay. And X. Maybe I'll call him Musky.
Coming from the swamp.
Okay, Kevin, you get to make the first move.
I'm wondering if we could possibly maneuver this mangrove flying device so that we could actually just run it right into him.
That would.
I'm actually kind of saying something to
Derek.
To Derek, yeah. Is there a way that we can try to spear this guy at this thing? Maybe knock him over and we can beat the shit out of him.
Absolutely, yes.
I just had a mental picture of 3 powerful wizards like ramming someone with a tree, then getting off the tree, just like office spacing him like a printer.
Kicking him. Yeah, just like giving him the boot.
You guys are powerful wizards. Kicking his ass.
The violence.
That's right. Yeah.
Is the Derek also riding the tree, or is he floating alongside?
I don't know. You tell me.
I would think he's floating alongside the tree.
Okay.
So it would be me and Schloop that's on the tree itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
okay.
Plus however many rats you have.
As many as I could possibly find. It's probably just completely inundated. If anything, they're probably dangling off the back like a tail of a kite, just mouth on tail,
Mm. And how many rats at this point should be circling us?
I
Because
love
we at least
this.
have the one, the Rocco.
Yeah, Rocco. Well, he's on leisure time right now. He's it's basically therapy right now. I don't know.
A number.
As many
Wait,
a
here.
number. Yeah.
There are 3.
Seems
3 rats.
They're circling. They're circling.
Oh, okay. All
the deck.
right.
okay.
All right. So I'm gonna look at the Schloop. I'm sorry.
Schlop.
Schlop. Okay. We'll look at Schlop.
Slurp, Shop, yeah,
Um,
whatever.
Sorry.
I
Okay.
answered any of those.
Well, you say we have Derek throw it at this guy, and then we just do things. You can just on him, and then he can just like lift him or whatever, and then not rest.
From what I understood of that, yeah, sure.
You ever talk to a 10-year-old?
Sounds
Way
accurate.
too often.
It's pretty spot on.
As seldom
way
as
too
possible.
often.
Like, yeah, as seldom as possible. As seldom as possible in my
I
case.
live with one. It's rough.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. I'm very, very into encouraging this kid's enthusiasm for wizardry and mayhem. So yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
All right, everyone to the back of the log.
Scurrying to the back of the log.
So as they do that, basically we've got the log above X and it's being turned 90 degrees while still going up higher. And once it gets to like the point where everyone else is starting to get like cold and having a hard time breathing, is when I'm going to try to go as strong gravity as I can on specifically the log, so that they'll be like
Shit.
Looney Tunes action. The log's going to shoot down. They're going to be here. The log's going to blast into X, and they'll just slowly feather fall.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me.
Cool.
Make your roll.
All right, that's a 6.
That is very Looney Tunes, and I
3
love
5s.
the idea of like Looney Tunes magic. You know,
All right,
I should do something with that, like a Looney Mancer.
I'm taking that
That'd
one
be
out.
Splatter League material. for
Somebody who
sure.
can employ cartoon rules.
All right,
Yeah.
so that was 4 6s, a 5, a 3, and these other 2 dice that I don't want to talk about them. We're
So
gonna
it's
ignore
7
them.
total?
Yes.
All right, cool. You succeed in doing what you want. The log shoots down towards X, the muskie. And these guys and the rats kind of like wee float down. You, to Derek, you had a smirk cross your face, like, because you're powerful. Like, you did a cool ass thing here. I would give you a point of badass for that because it's really cool. But Musk reaches out and stops the tree,
But I said max
and
gravity.
it comes soaring back at you.
I said maximum.
I heard you.
That's not
I did.
what I wanted.
That was not according to plan.
And you take a point of damage to badass as the tree slams into your stomach and then plummets to the earth. You nearly get trapped under it and fall too, but your mastery of gravity allows you to get out from under it and not get crushed into the ground.
Okay.
All right. That brings us to actually all of you get a turn before he goes.
So as I'm free
Kevin,
falling, I'm gonna try to maneuver myself over to all these rats and see if I can have them climb onto my body and basically like form some sort of rat type mech suit.
I was going to suggest that earlier. That's awesome.
And you know,
I mean, it worked
like,
in Morbius.
like Iron Man, but like just
Fucking fuck you. Do
Well,
you yell it's Morbin time?
then
No.
John,
ugh.
instead, John, think of the way that the two towns built the town built a giant man in the hills of the cities by Clive Barker.
That's better. That is better. No, my pen. Yeah, you can build yourself a little rat suit.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm doing as I'm floating down. Is trying to maneuver as much as I can to get as covered as possible.
As you come to land on the roof, you rise essentially a writhing mass of rats in the shape of a 10-year-old boy. And Charles, you have one action.
I, John, am going to shed half my mass as I fall.
I'm trying to.
Here's the thing about technology. Not all of it, but a fair amount of it is powered by electricity flowing through wires and microchips. And mold is really bad for that shit. Ask any IT guy if he wants mold inside of anything from a phone to a computer, and he will say, good Christian God, no. I'm just assuming the IT guy in my scenario is Christian. And so I want to shed half my mass as like a fine, dusty powder that settles over everything, like every surface in the radius it can reach as I come down. That'll also help slow my fall. So that is what I would like to do. And that is a form of sorcery. Because all of that mass I shed, I would like to make it very frisky, ready to begin to replicate and consume anything it touches. And I know that Husk probably has nanites, but I don't know if he has shed his mass in nanites into the vicinity recently. And even if he has, this ought to even
he
the
has
odds
shed his clothes, which is frustrating.
My sorcery. Well, that just means he's going to get more mold on him. That's great. Cool. So that's 11 damn rolls. I'm going to have to.
You make the rolls. I'll keep count.
All right. 6 and 2. 1 and 1. 4 and 4. 4 and 1. 2 and 1, and I think I have 1 left. Oh, 1.
Okay. That's 4 successes total. You shed your weight and your spores float down to the earth. You land on the roof next to Musk, or near Musk, about the size of a 10-year-old boy. It's like Scooby-Doo gang fighting M. Bison right now.
Yeah.
But I am going to say, boom, boom, bam. You have, you did not do any damage to X the Musky, but you've lowered his badass as you've lowered the amount of resources he has to work with. So you made him easier to fight.
Nice.
Cool.
And with that, it is his turn. So, Rathu, he turns his rage on you. He yells something along the lines of, You cannot face me. I'm the richest man in the world.
Body flicking die.
And 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh,
I
gosh.
hope. I
Um,
really hope that he says that just like that often. I'm the richest man in the world.
no. He okay. He puts his hand over his chest, and then like it looks like he's flinging something at you, but he doesn't have anything in his hand. Instead, his nipple bulges with cancerous growth and shoots out, and like slaps you with a cancerous tendril nipple.
Gross.
Go ahead and roll me your so you can roll badass, but you currently have a rat sorcery mech suit on. So you can add your sorcery to this defense roll.
Okay.
So badass plus sorcery.
So,
And if you want to do something fancy with your sorcery with rats, you can do that.
oh, what I'd like to do is,
But-
if I could find a way, as he's trying to slap me with his weird cancer nipple thing or whatever,
Mhm.
I kind of come up and like crouch with my arm up, and if the rats kind of create a shield
Okay.
sort of thing, so
Yeah.
yeah, something like that.
Nipple flail, rat shield.
So that's 3 successes so far, 2 6s and a 5. The rest are 2s. And that's 4 more. That's 2
Good
4s and 2
God.
5s, and the others are 3s.
You feel the
I love
force
these
of his
He's on
fire! You feel the oh
Oh
my gosh, okay. You take the point, damn it. You do this thing and you feel the strength behind that nipple flail. Like you can feel that if you were just a regular 10-year-old boy fighting the world's richest man and his cancer magic on the rooftop, this would have crushed you. But as his nipple flail makes contact, first of all, you don't take any damage at all. Second of all, rats climb on his nipple and start biting. He screeches and it retracts back into his body. No, I'm so rich. He yells.
This is legitimately some of the best villain dialogue I've
But
ever
I'm
heard.
rich.
I'm a writer. Like professionally,
love
I write
this shit.
books.
This is like simple, funny stuff. Like, no, I'm so rich. That's legitimately fucking funny, John.
Kevin, it is your turn. Top of round. We are no longer in surprise rounds.
Okay, keeping the rat shield up, I'm going to pull out my scepter and I'm going to command some of the rats to move down my arm onto the scepter and tie their tails together at the end, creating a rat king.
A rat king, yeah.
And I'm going to swing.
Nice. I love
at
that. Give yourself an extra point of badass. Because I like
Oh
that
my
a
goodness.
lot.
Ratto Nine Tails.
A ratto nine
tails.
yes.
Charles, give yourself a point of badass.
Thank you.
No,
Patchkey, give yourself a point of
still
badass
down
too.
to.
Damn it. All right.
I know this is. Yeah.
Charles Patchkey, I would have given you a point of badass. Oh, actually, do give yourself a point of badass.
Okay.
Because I was going to give you a point of
Do you?
badass for throwing the log, but then you took a point of damage, so it nulled out. But then I had you take a point of badass damage anyway. So give yourself that point I took away.
Okay, so I'm back to -1.
Hurling a mangrove.
It's cool
log
as shit.
is- Yeah. And you know, we all compensate in our own ways, Pashki. I started the game at the very, very low badass score. So
All right, Kevin,
Okay.
go ahead and roll your stuff.
So it's badass and sorcery?
Yes, sir.
Holy shit, that's fucking 13 dice.
There's really never a point where you should not use your sorcery.
Okay. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7
Okay.
successes.
Good God. I will say that Charles knocking down Musky's badass score at the beginning of this fight has really helped you guys.
Perfect.
Yeah. You slam this into him and he yelps, Grimes, forgive me, as he stumbles back and then stands back up, just rage fueled in his eyes. Pashki, it's your turn.
All right.
You are not on the roof, you are down on the ground currently.
What? I'm on the what? I'm where?
You are not on the roof, you are on the ground. On the ground.
You got
You're
log
above
piles.
the ground, but
Okay, I'm above the ground. Thank God.
Oh,
Okay.
that's right. You're way up in the air because you got log smacked in the
Yeah.
gut, and then
I
the
may have
log
been
fell
log
down to the
smacked, but
ground.
I
So
don't know what the
you're
ground feels
still-
like anymore.
yeah. No, you are not on the ground.
Yeah.
You could have been
Yeah.
pinned, but you are not.
Okay. Fantastic.
You are in the air.
You're floating around like one of them Dragon Ball Z fellers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Cool. How many of his electric vehicles are nearby?
Oh, there's probably like 30 of them parked in front of the complex.
The notoriously explosive battery-powered vehicles.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Tell
They're very
me, hey,
sane.
Patchkey, tell me what you're thinking, bud.
So lithium batteries. I don't know if you've ever seen videos. When they get punctured,
Yeah.
they at minimum catch on fire and expand. Now we have a bunch of vehicles and I can control gravity. What I would like to
That's
do
true.
is hurl them at him while crushing them. So pick them up, crush, and throw so they become flaming molten balls of metal that will eventually explode once the battery expands enough.
Ooh.
Okay. I will let you throw 2 cars at him per round.
2 cars per round. Okay.
That's fair.
And that's
I love that caveat.
That's some good lawyering right there.
We are playing
you can
a
throw 2
reasonable
cars at
game
him.
here.
Since when?
Yeah. You can
6,
throw only
5,
2 cars at him.
5, 3, and 3. 3s don't count, right?
Yep, you've gotten 4 successes so far, I believe.
So I've got a 6, 2 5s.
Oh, 3 successes. Okay.
Yeah, and then the 3s and then I dropped one of those off because I'm still down a
Oh,
badass.
add a point of badass.
Then I'm
At 1
putting
point.
you back in, buddy.
You
Did not help me. All right. 2s don't count. So that's 2 more successes. 2 6s.
All right. Charles, you made this fight trivial. You guys are standing
Got a
on
problem?
the roof.
Put mold on it.
Probably just disgusted by this horrible man baby you see in front of you. Actually, Schlorp, you're probably laughing your goddamn ass off as a 10-year-old whips Musky in the face with a rat flail.
Rat of 9 tails. Writing that one down.
I'm no longer capable of true laughter, but I'm making a bubbling noise that is unmistakably produced of hilarity. Kind of a thick, like glopping, bubbling noise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see 2 cars. Well, okay, let me rephrase. You see 2 balls of crumpled steel. You see 2 balls of crumpled metal steel fly over the roof of the building and slam into Muskie, who grabs both cars, one in each hand, and like you can see it pushing him back. He's like, "No, my well protects me. My well," and then both cars explode. The good news is, when the smoke clears, he is like on one knee, panting. He is hurt. The bad news is the explosion did burn away his Louis Vuitton bathrobe, and so now he's just his scrawny like Hank Hill-esque ass is just out in the wind. Schlorp, it is your turn.
Okay. All right. Let's think about this. How do I want to play this? You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and try and shoot them in. This will pay off next turn if it works, but it should help us immensely. So you know how everything's covered in mold right now.
Horny mold.
I just have horny mold. But I look musky right in his dumbass face, and in my weird, unearthly, gloppy swamp voice, say, "Our name is Legion, for we are many." And I'm going to spawn myself all over the area that is covered in mold. I'm going to basically clone myself. Let's say 20 times.
Roll me your stuff.
All
right. This is a
all right, cool.
Okay, roll your stuff.
Okay. I will be acting as one, if that helps. Fail.
Ouch.
Fail. Maybe my name is not Legion. Fail success. Fail. And I think I've got one left.
Oh my god.
That's a fail as well.
All right,
wow, that sucks.
So
Kevin, you got all my luck
first
tonight.
Charles, lose a point of badass, gain a point of fire.
Okay.
You look musky
cool.
in his eyes, and you say, "We are Legion."
Yeah.
And then you kind of just stand there mean mugging. And like you see him like tense, like, all right, what's happening? Is this it? Like, are we good?
And then I just start cabbage patching. You know. When in doubt, cabbage
That'll
patch
throw
it
him
out.
off.
No, you don't understand. Funny Dave loves me. He shouts, and he kind of inhales and then vomits blood diamonds as a torrent at you, Rathu. So how are you defending?
I guess if I could possibly, like, is it like just a straight stream, or is it just like a cone effect?
It's a cone. It is a breath weapon of blood diamonds.
All right. So is there a chance for me to get out of the way of it, or is it just all encompassing?
You can try to get out of the way.
Okay, then I'm going to try to get out of the way.
Roll your badass.
All right. Let's see. I found all your dice there, Charles. That's 3 successes and
okay.
Nope, just 3 successes.
You try to get out of the way, but you get clipped on the shoulder. It spins you around, knocking rats loose. You feel a few of the rats die as they're crushed by blood diamonds, and you feel like a few diamonds just tear through your shoulder, leaving bloody gouges where they went. The good news is you're only going to take 1 point of badass damage, but it hurts like hell.
Is it going to be one of those ongoing things where if I don't pull blood diamonds out, it's going to continue to injure me? Or did they go straight through?
Not that you know. You do not know how blood diamond magic works. Luckily, if you did, we wouldn't be friends.
That's fair.
And with that, Kevin, it's actually your turn.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do is seeing,
And this is going to be the last round, one way
Okay.
or another.
Feeling the loss of my friends, and then taking that hit to the shoulder. I'm just gonna have them have the suit kind of just dissipate off of me, and I'm gonna have them swarm up X the Musky. Basically, they're just leaping over each other trying to get to him, and I want them to climb up him and just start gnawing on every bit of exposed skin, flesh.
Yeah,
which is
Well,
have you ever had a
yeah.
rat
Yeah,
under
exactly.
paint?
So
Yeah.
he's left
Musky's
himself.
about to-
He's about to have a lot of rat bites.
That's exactly, and I'm
an insurmountable number of rat
Just-
bites. Okay,
Exactly.
go ahead and roll your sorcery and badass.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Jeez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. You see X the Musky, like he sees him coming and he's like he's summoning walls of fibrous tumors to block the rats coming, but the rats are voracious. Rats will eat through anything, including tumors,
Just about.
as they
Yep,
just
just
swarm
about.
over him. And you see one bite the tip of his macro penis, and it's dangling off there and making it look like he's a little bit more hung, but it's just like whipping around like and Musky is screaming. It's a bad time to be a musk, is what I'm saying. Patchkey?
I want to keep this train going. So
Mhm.
the rats
Yeah.
bit onto the tip of his penis. Like, I feel like
One rat.
One
the
rat.
other rats are biting other places. I just felt like that was the most
Yes.
important rat to know about.
I'm torn because I feel like the most effective thing I can do is to throw more cars at him. But I also feel like the better, more humorous thing to do is to increase the gravity as strong as I can, specifically to his dick, in an attempt to just right off.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and make your roll.
Okay.
You love to see it.
4, 5. Smother dice. Not talk about them. 5, 4. 3s aren't good enough, right? Okay. Let's not talk
Yeah.
about that.
Okay. You go to increase the gravity, and Musk can sense what you're doing, right?
And he's into
And
it.
he reaches down and grabs the gravity well. It should be impossible. You feel a surge of unnatural energy. This cancerous, entropic, demonic energy surges through your own magic and slams into you, knocking you back. You're going to take 1 point of badass damage.
All right.
A reverso.
Yeah, he pulled the reverse Uno card out at you. And Charles.
Well, with my theatrics failing so spectacularly, maybe it's time I just go back to basics. Let's see. Mold everywhere.
Would
What
you
to
like a
do with it?
suggestion?
You know what? I actually think I've thought of it. I'm just going with brute force. I am going to have my 10-year-old mold body turn itself into a single arm appendage with a fist extrusion on the end and punch him right in his dumb fucking face. So just mold punch to the face. Let's see if I can do that. And that I'm assuming is sorcery since I'm changing shape and all that. Okay, great. 4 is 11. Fail, fail. Come on, you piece of shit. Fail, fail. Success, success. Success, fail.
8.
What am I at? 8. Oh, okay, great. Shit, I dropped one of the dice. Hang on. Oh, success. And then one more. That is a success as well.
Awesome.
Maybe I should roll onto the floor.
You do this. And normally a brute force attack of physicality would probably never actually land on an arch mage like this. But with the rat hanging off his penis and with him distracted by trying to have a literal magical duel with Tadaric, he just doesn't see you coming.
Yeah, we're running a train on him.
And this punch knocks him straight in the face and he stumbles back. And you can tell he just can't get his footing. As he's stumbling, Refuse rats continue to like run and jump and like slam into him, pushing him back. And to Derek, you see your chance as he starts to lose his balance by the edge of the building. And all it takes is a slight increase in gravity around his head to send him plummeting backwards over the side of the building. He does one flip and would probably continue to somersault through the air, but there's the flagpole, and he just Vlad the Impalers himself. It goes in one end, it comes out the other, and he slides down. It's probably pretty rough when he goes over the flag.
I was gonna say flag.
And then the other flag. So there's a big flag with a T on it, and a big flag with an X on it, and then a big flag for a country. I won't say which one. And they're just coated now in shit and blood. And
as all flags should be. Yep.
And between the bloody teeth as Musk dies on this flagpole, and then he dies. You see around his citadel, the tendrils of cancer are drying up and falling apart. Without Musk's magic and the demon that was empowering him, it can't sustain itself in this world. And his empire is turning to rot. It will fall apart, the unnatural elements returning to the ether, and the natural elements decaying and returning to the soil from which they came, enabling the continued cycle of life and death in this swamp.
Praise the swamp.
Friends, this has been Overgrowth. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I sure as hell did.
Yes.
This game, not going to be on Kickstarter, but it will be available. So follow at Juan Moncast and at MHP_games.
Yeah.
So you can be aware of when it drops. Otherwise, like I said, we'll be putting stuff out. We're gonna get this live, and we're making games all the time. Garrett Cook and I just dropped a new game called Adventures with Your Mom. That we're very excited about. We will be at Madness Art Press. Will be at we were at Nosferatu Fest last weekend.
Yeah,
we're recording this the week before, so but we will be at Ghoulish Book Festival with Bridget Brave, and a lot of other Madness Art Press authors. March 13th through 15th in San Antonio. the bookstore portion of that and the mass author signing are free to the public. So please come and check that out. Daniel Krause is going to be there. Wiley E. Young, Wesley Southern, Jeff Strand, Bridget Nelson, Jessica McHugh, which I'm super stoked about. Lots of amazing authors will be there. So please come check that out. And then next month, April, the Staple Mixed Media Expo. Madness Heart Games will be there selling games alongside Nate Southern and his new game. So lots of cool shit coming. Follow @OneMoncast so you can be on top of it all. I think that's all we have to say. Thank you so much for joining us on this consensual journey we call Wandering Monster. I am John Baltisberger.
And Charles
I'm Kevin
R.
Welch.
Bernard.
I'm Mr. Paschke.
We will return next. No, we will not return next week. We're taking a break for the next week, maybe the next two. But we will be back soon. If you can't wait until then, listen to Bog Wizard and fuck the man.